Hi, my name's Si Hulbert. Welcome back to my studio in sunny Chislehurst. We're going to continue looking at the track I wrote with Stealth called Don't Make Me Choose.
Don't make me choose, unless you're willing to lose. Don't make me choose, 'cause you know I'll cut you loose. Don't make me choose, I know what I must do. Don't make me choose.
So the process in this, the first thing I put on this guitar was the Waves tuner, which I've been using on loads of stuff. I really like it. It seemed to work on the guitar. Like I said, that's what it's doing. So that's with the tuning. You probably won't hear a lot of difference on that, but I know that it's just kind of clipping it in. I then put the Waves EQ on there just to literally scrape out all the bottom end of this, because I wanted this is the high guitar, doesn't need any bottom in it. Hopefully this will loop round you up. Okay, again, we've got the 76 on there just to bring up the signal. Not working as hard on there, it was a smaller sound, so the levels were recorded a little bit lower. Let's move that out of the way. So then after that, we're going into the Waves guitar cab. Right, it looks like on there I've obviously used a preset vintage lead. I've probably tweaked it, probably added more presence on it, but this is what it sounds like with. I mean, I was literally just using my ears, seeing which guitars complemented, and you know, it didn't sound too farty or squeaky, and these seem to kind of work with the sound that we're going for. Again, put 76 after that just to bring up that level again. So that's without, that's with not a huge difference, but it was enough. And again, we've got a lot of hiss. So the last thing in the sequence was the gate, and you can hear the difference. There you go. So it's nice and quiet and not taking up any headroom. So these are what the guitars sound like together. And there's interesting little noises, because I brought up so much of the background stuff. There's kind of glitches, but I just think it sounded really cool. And at the end of this, there's a little fade out. And literally, I just took the tail of that, cut it, copied it, reversed it, so it kind of faded out, then back into the next verse. So it just adds a little bit of interesting like ear candy for that. So that's what this is what the guitars and the bass sound like in unison. So the bass is doing exactly the same thing as the acoustic guitars. This is the riff that we started with. So this is everything playing together. It sounds kind of quite nice and heavy. With the drums, let me just silence the vocals. So this is everything playing together. Fade out at the end. Right, so those are the guitars. That's pretty much, I don't think we've got any, I don't think we added anything extra at the end. We've just got some, we've got like a reverse feedback thing in the verse, again, just to bring the ear back into the chorus again, and that would have been a copy and paste of the heavy guitar sound. What I've done there, and you can also see it here, I've got some automation on this. So here I've just got a pan. So at the end of the chorus, you've got a bit of feedback that then pans from. You can see it's panning from left over to the right, and then when it's coming back in for the chorus, it swells back up again and comes in from the other side. See the automation up there. comes back in here, and I've done the same thing with the high octave guitar. I took the section at the end and just reversed it so it kind of leads back into the guitar part. Again, with a little bit of automation and panning, so you're going from, where are we going? Going from the right here, I think. Let's have a look. So that will show me, there we go. Yeah, so we're going from left speaker to right, just makes it sound a bit more interesting. And that's pretty much the guitars all the way through, they don't change. So we wanted basically the bulk of this track to just be solid, so you know, we could take the vocals out, but we wanted this to be locked, so we weren't kind of interested in doing tempo changes or anything on this to make it sound a little bit more organic, because the vocals are doing that. So, and that's the next fun bit, is the vocals. So again, we've got the lead vocals, which I spoke about, and then we've got the chorus vocal, which would be a copy and paste of the lead vocal that I set up on the verse.
Comes crashing down, make me choose. Unless you're willing to lose, don't make me choose.
So again, the only the difference between the lead vocal on the verse and the chorus, I've put a pitch shifter on there again, just to add a little bit of body to it. I'll play it without.
Choose, unless you're willing to lose, don't make me choose. Because you know I'll cut you
It's
loose,
subtle.
don't make me choose.
It's very subtle, it just adds a little bit of body to Stealth's vocal. And again, got a parallel compression on there, same as I set up for the lead vocal, with a, I think I've probably put a little bit more on there. Oh no, I haven't. I've got a slightly different reverb as well. So again, Valhalla, but I imagine this is a slightly bigger sound. What have we got? Yeah, large room. So we've kind of got a little bit more decay on it, just so it sounds bigger. So these are the lead vocals all together.
I know what I must do, don't make me choose.
After we recorded the lead vocal, we'd have then done a track vocal just to kind of add a bit of width to his lead there. So these are the track vocals here. I'll play it with and without. So this is with.
All comes crashing down, make me choose. Unless you're willing to lose,
Without.
don't make me choose.
With.
Because you know I'll cut you loose, don't make me choose.
They're just subtle. Is what they sound like by themselves.
Willing to lose, don't make me choose.
So you can hear they're dry. There's no reverb on that. I didn't really want that. I just wanted something that's going to support the lead, because there's a lot of character on that lead vocal. Let's have a look. Again, I'll put these. So I've got a debreather. I've got a waves tune on this one because they were tracks. I wanted to make sure that these were bang on the money from a tuning perspective. Right, so this is what they sound like without the processing. These are on stereo linked. Let's move that across. So these are linked. So I can move them up and down, and anything I affect on one will affect the other one. So I don't need to worry about replicating it, it will just do it automatically. So this is what they sound like without the processing.
Choose, unless you're willing to lose,
And
don't
with.
make me choose. 'Cause you know I'll cut you loose.
Just a bit tidier, a bit tighter. Again, got the deep breath mono on there, which will take out all the because they were a track, I didn't want all these breaths going off everywhere. We then got the waves tune again, we're in D minor, so this was set to a reasonably quick speed, just to kind of make sure everything was in and it didn't sound unpleasant, but it, you know, it sounds great. We've then got the CLA rock voice again on there, it just fitted, and then a bit of 76. to bring up the levels. And these are just panned, not hard left and right, but almost hard left and right, to just add a bit of width to the vocal. So once we had the lead vocal down, we want the BVs on this, and I think the BVs are kind of what gives it a very kind of shouty, aggressive feel. So if I just play the backing vocals by themselves, this is what we've got.
Don't make me. Don't make me.
So it's a big kind of crowd sound. Now, if I open up the I keep everything in folders just because it enables me to kind of know where I am with everything. So, and you'll see why in a sec. So, right, these are all the vocals we've got for this. So there's two sections here. We've got, I think these are probably,
Don't make me.
so these are low down vocals.
Don't make me.
And there's actually, these are a mixture of, I think probably me, Paul and Stealth recording these. And when we record like the backing vocals like that, make sure that everybody's kind of a good distance from the mic, so you get a little bit of room and noise, and because you don't want it up front, you want it to sound like a background vocal. So we would have recorded, let's see what else we've got here. Let me just see what these ones do. I think these are the higher ones.
Don't make me.
Yeah, these are, Stealth's got a great kind of like rock voice, so this kind of just added a little bit more grit to it. So together they sound like this.
Don't make me.
And what I do when I'm recording this, we'll have it on a loop, and then all of these are panned. So if I bring across the mixer page, you can see. So this is the channel here, so you can see they've all got a spread. They're all on slightly different panning settings, so it's just a nice spread. And then what I've done is routed these, grouped these, and sent them to a group. So they're all routed to the don't BVs. So there's, as you can see, there's no processing on these channels individually. They've been group processed. I'll show you what I've done there. So if we take the don't vocals, so these are my group tracks. So these are coming through here. So this is what they sound like without processing.
Don't make me.
Quiet, you know, there's not a lot of character in there.
Don't make.
So what I did again on this, I imagine I'll probably use the, so it looks Stealth, don't know BBs, I'm going to quick look at this. I'd imagine this would probably again be based around the Chris Lordage rock voice thing, just because you want that aggressive in your face character. We've got a gate on there as well, which is taking the noise out. So we've got that. Then got the 1176. And then got the Isotope Nectar again. And again, used the amped up preset on that as the basis, and then would have just tweaked it. So if we do these, if I punch these in bit by bit, you'll hear what they do. So this is with the waves channel.
Don't make me.
Again, instantly, a little bit of clarity, and there's compression on there as well, so it's bringing everything up.
Don't make me.
If I bring up the 76.
Don't make me.
You'll hear the difference now.
Don't make me.
Again, it just puts everything right in your face. Literally, again, it's the in-your-face vocal setting. I actually got that off of another producer friend who just seems to use it on all his all his channels, and it does work. It just adds, it really gets everything in your face. And then we've got the Isotope Nectar.
Don't make me.
So again, just adds the grit on there. This is adding extra compression, EQ. I think the saturation on that I pushed up because he wanted that kind of gritty sound. Got a bit of delay, effects and reverb, but again, those would have just been probably the presets that I've just tweaked accordingly. And I would have done a similar thing with these vocals. Let's just have a quick look. So same as before, if I bring the mixer screen across, you can see they're all panned. They're all at unity gain, so because the overall level on it was enough. And again, they're all sent to a group, and they're actually sent to a separate group. So let's have a look. So it's got quite an aggressive sound on it. Again, what I would have done was just literally duplicated the first group setting over to the second one. And what have we got? We've got a bit of Valhalla verb on there again, just to kind of give it a bit more space. But what I didn't want to do is put all the vocals to one group, because the compressors and everything would have had to work too hard. I just wanted to be able to get a bit of separation between the groups. So together they sound like this. So the whole chorus then together sounds like this.
Comes crashing down. Don't make me choose unless you're willing to lose. Don't make me choose because you know.
So without the lead vocals, you can hear the, if I mute those, you can hear what the BVs are doing.
Comes crashing down. Don't make me.
Okay, so this is all the vocals together without the backing, so you can kind of hear what's going on there.
Relationship, it don't mean shit, but it all comes crashing down. Don't make me choose unless you're willing to lose. Don't make me choose.
So you can hear the "don't make me's" punctuating the first bit of the chorus, and it's just kind of it's working all the way through. That's a hook in itself, and we did want like a kind of call and answer thing. We don't want to kind of overcomplicate it, and I think if we did like harmonies and stuff like that, it'd make it sound a bit too poppy, and it'd have lost, you know, a band appeal. So that's why we kind of kept this quite simple from that point of view. But I think because each of the BVs has been sung separately, it just sounds great. There's slight variance on it. It's not tight like you would get like in an R&B production. It's a bit floppy, sounds a bit shouty. But yeah, we wanted the "don't make me." That was the bit that we really wanted to emphasise.
All comes crashing down. Don't make me choose unless you're willing to lose. Don't make me choose.
So it just we wanted it to sound big and shouty and nasty, which I think it does. So yeah, with this song, because we wanted it to sound organic. A lot of the time in, you know, pop and pop choruses, you'll literally sing a chorus and then cut and paste it to all the other ones. This one we didn't. We wanted to make sure that each one was different, basically. I don't think he went off piece like melody-wise on the second chorus, but you can see there's slight differences between the peaks and troughs where he's put power in. That's the first chorus, that's the second chorus. You can see it's just the waveforms are a little bit bigger. You know, we're just getting a little bit more power in there, which is kind of what we wanted. We wanted to make sure that, you know, the choruses were developing. So these would have been, let me give you an A and B.
Choose, I know what I must do. Don't make me.
So it's the second chorus.
Choose, I know what I must do. Don't make me choose.
So it's just putting a little bit more emphasis on it. It's kind of biting into the vocal a little bit more. By the time we get to the last chorus,
Choose,
he's opening his voice up.
don't make me choose.
Obviously before the end chorus, we've got the middle eight, or bridge, as the Americans like to call it. And here, I think we stripped everything down. Let me just check this, open up the track. Right, so let's see what we've got going on here. Okay, so literally we stripped out all the instrumentation in here. So guitar, everything. Because that riff has been running through the whole track, we just needed a little bit of a break for the ears. And I think we tried, you know, probably different things musically, but then decided, actually, let's just cut it all out. So we've got a little bit of feedback guitar that we've used before in the verses. Just kind of trails off. Right, so the vinyl crackle's still running through there. We've got a bit of feedback, but from an instrumentation point of view, that is it. There's no drums, no nothing. But what we did do, we went to town with the vocals on this a little bit more. So we've got this, Stealth's got kind of like a real big dynamic range, and he kind of did this low vocal thing that I really liked, which I took, you can hear here, I'll play it to you. Just sounded cool. Right, so I got him to sing this into the mic, but I wanted it to kind of have a bit of a robotic, like almost vocoded feel. So I'll play it to you without the, let's see if I take the Vari audio off as well. Right, so this is what it sounded like trying. So you can hear it's a little bit pitchy on there. I mean, it's still quite low down, but I wanted to give it a real kind of locked in sort of, you know, something to hear on a Kanye record or something like that. So use the Vari audio first of all, which I use loads, and I absolutely love this to bits. So basically, just quantized and locked everything to specific notes. This is, so that's with, this is without. So you can hear it's not locked, this is with. So, and also I didn't want to just kind of take a couple of beats of that and repeat it. I wanted it to make sure the whole thing was done, so it kind of, you know, if you ran out of breath it would sound cool, if you kind of opened up a little bit more it would sound dynamic. So that was the first stage, put the Vari audio onto it. With all the effects, I'll play it to you with all the effects, and I'll take punching the effects one by one. So this is with everything. So that kind of sounds quite hooky in its own right, and also it's keeping the tempo of the track going without having drums in there and everything. We just wanted this to be all vocal. So what we've got on there, we have got D breath again. Pretty much what I've been using on all the vocals so far. So we've got the D breath. Again, got the SSL channel, but I'm using the lead voice preset, which again I would have tweaked. We don't have a gate on this because I didn't need it. And then the 1176. Let me play that to you bit by bit. And because it was kind of a low vocal and there's lots of breaths in it, the D breath was actually quite important on this one. So you can see it working there. And we've got the SSL channel. Again, the compression on it and the EQ on it is just bringing up those little artifacts that the Vari audio introduces when you do a hard tune on stuff. But I like that, it kind of worked really well for this. And then the 76 to bring everything up. And you can kind of, you can hear bits of like headphone bleed on the back of this where everything's been brought up, but I again really like that. It just adds a little bit of interest and makes it sound a bit more kind of guerrilla recording. Now the last thing on here is the EQ, sorry, it's the sound shifter and a bit of Valhalla. So I'll play it to you with. So that adds real depth to his vocal. This is without. So again, the sound shifter would have been an octave down. This is the one that I've kind of used on the other vocals. There we go. So it's just an octave down. And the Valhalla, I think, is the There we go. So this is the lead vocal for the chorus reverb on there. It's got a bit more kind of ambience around it, and so that's basically that. So that was kind of the backbone of the bridge. Let me play it to you all together again. So this is the bridge. There we go. And again, lead vocal. That's exactly the same processing as the verse vocal. It's still on the verse channel. So I have covered that. He re-sang this again, a little less dynamics in his vocal, just to feel like it's gone somewhere. But what we did do was then stack these up with backing vocals. I shall show you. So we've still got the low "Don't Make Me Choose" playing through this section.
Don't make me.
But then we recorded some high sort of hooky melodies that we could use. So we've got both these playing together. So we've got there, again, it's in unison. We've got a high vocal. And a low vocal. So again with these, I'll pull over the mixer channel. You can see all of these. They're all panned. Again, like I've done with the other BVs, so kind of they've got a real big spread over them. There's no processing actually on the channels themselves. There's nothing on the individual channels. They're all sent to groups again, but they'll be sent to separate groups. So that, again, these are all linked, so I can move them in groups, which is brilliant. So I'll get it to the level that I like, and then I know that if I affect one, it'll affect everything. So these are sent through to these groups. Let me just pull up the groups. There we go. So bridge vocals 1, bridge vocals 2. Again, I wanted to get the separation on there. So the high vocals have got their own group, the low vocals have got their own group. Let me just play it to you with and without. So these are low vocals. These are the high vocals. So again, got the backing vocals that are put on their own channel, very simple. Got SSL channel 76, again just to bring everything up into your face. CLA rock setting with the gate on just gives it an aggressive feel, as I've done on all of these. I wanted to keep this whole thing simple. I didn't want to kind of start getting too clever with stuff. So with and without, this is without. With the CLA channel and with the 76. Just again, made everything in your face. Then we've just got a bit of Valhalla, which we've used on the other bits before. So this is, I think this is just I think this is what we used on the guitar and the percussion at the beginning that I showed you. Yeah, it is. So again, it makes it feel like it's all recorded in the same space. And I would have done exactly the same thing with the second lower group of backing vocals. I'd have just literally duplicated that channel and then maybe tweaked the reverb or just a little bit so it kind of fits better. So we got 2 reverbs on this one. So we got the kind of the percussive reverb that I used on the guitar, and also the slightly bigger reverb I used on the lead vocal. Right, so then we get to the last chorus. Again, the only new element in here is the lead vocal again. That's what people are going to be listening to. So where Stealth has kind of kept it kind of quite low key, this one he literally just let go with his vocal and gave it a bit of power. So I'll play you the vocal.
Don't make me choose unless you're willing to lose. Don't make me choose.
So you can hear his vocal kind of breaking, and it just sounded great. All together, it sounds like this. So he just opens up, end of the track. The only new additional part here is this little. So that was basically just literally a bounce of the verse section that I then put at the end here, and I think I probably put a filter over it. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah. Use the Waves Q10 to give it the AM radio feel, and then put a little bit of Mondo mod on it. Again, to make it sound like an old sample. I'll play you with and without. So this is without. This is with. That's a bit short. And that was pretty much it. And then there's master bus processing over the whole thing, which again, I wouldn't, when I send it off to a mastering engineer, I'll take that off. This is literally just for my reference, so I can hear where it wants to be. So if I show you my channel on there. So again, got the old Mondo mod. And the Ozone 6 on there. So again, I wouldn't send this off for mastering with this on. This is just literally for my reference. So this is. So it does make a big difference. It does make a big difference, but it's really so I can then send that to the mastering engineer and go, I kind of want it sounding roughly like this, and they'll know what I'm talking about. So with the mastering bus, again, I kind of wanted it to have this, the whole track, wanted to have like a sort of a vintage, sort of old school. Couldn't quite place where it's come from. And again, the Mondo mod, I put the 33, I think it's called 33 1/3 off center. So when you open it up as a preset, it's really wobbly. But if you take down the depth right down, it just gives a slight variation, so it feels like stuff's speeding up, slowing down, the kind of the same effect you get when you listen to a record. So it just adds a little bit of sonic interest to me. So I would leave that on when I was sending it for mastering, because I think it adds something. With the Ozone, I wouldn't leave that on, but again, what I would have done would be to go through probably the presets, find which one is closest to kind of the sound that I liked, and then would have gone through these, the processes, and added and taken away, and just for effect really. So with the equalizer, you can see I've just got a boost at the top end just to make it a little bit more sparkly. I think the compressor's probably, the multiband compressor's probably working hard on the bottom end. Let's have a look. Not too bad, it's just taking a bit off. Again, it's just keeping everything in its place. So this is working, that's working a little bit harder because there's quite a lot of harshness around that middle because there's a lot of guitars and stuff, so it's just stopping it getting too peaky. The exciter, I probably put that on just because I do like the difference it makes when, I mean, I just use my ears with this kind of stuff, so that would have been, that's without. Yeah, I'm sure it's adding something that I felt at the time. And again, just got the maximizer on there just to kind of contain the levels. Like I said, I wouldn't send this off for mastering with that on. That would all be bypassed. They'd just have a raw unprocessed file. And that is the whole track. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I hope it's been helpful. Please check out Stealth on Spotify, Twitter, very easy to find. And feel free to check out my YouTube and SoundCloud channels, Si Hulbert. Thank you.